Have you ever felt overlooked, rejected, or underestimated to the point where all your efforts seemed meaningless? In that moment, did you ask yourself, am I not good enough? Or is this world simply too harsh? But did you know that rejection, those slammed doors in your face, can sometimes be life's most beautifully disguised gift? In the darkness of disappointment lies a faint light, and only those who know how to see it can transform it into the power to rise again. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Rejection isn't the end. It's a reminder that there's something greater and more deserving waiting for you ahead. Today, I invite you on a special journey. A journey that will not only change how you face rejection, but will also help you build an unshakable mind, resilient against any storm. This video is not just abstract theory. It's a practical guide rooted in Stoic philosophy, a philosophy that turns every no in life into a stepping stone towards a greater yes. Over the next 60 minutes, I'll share 13 essential lessons that will help you transform rejection into opportunity and, from there, shape a life no one can break. You'll learn how to stay calm in adversity, build inner strength, and overcome mental barriers you once thought were impossible. But first, take a moment and reflect. Are you ready to face your pain and turn it into power? If your answer is yes, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to join me in uncovering these secrets. This is not just a video, it's a turning point for your soul. Questions to ponder. Have you ever let rejection make you give up on something that truly mattered? If today you had the chance to turn it into a lesson, would you take it? Let these questions guide you as we embark on this journey to uncover the hidden strength within you. Together, we'll start from here. Are you ready to flip the script in the mind game? 13 lessons. The path to mastering the mind game. 35 minutes. 1. Rejection is a mirror reflecting others, not your worth. Rejection is one of the most painful experiences we face in life. It has a way of cutting deep, making us question our value, our abilities, and even our place in the world. But what if rejection isn't about you at all? What if it's simply a reflection of the other person's limitations, priorities, or circumstances? Imagine an artist submitting their work to an exhibition, only to have it declined. The rejection stings, but does it make their work less beautiful? No, it merely reflects the curator's preferences or the gallery's constraints. The value of the art remains unchanged. This is the essence of rejection. It says more about the person rejecting you than it does about your intrinsic worth. Yet, so often, we internalize it. We allow it to erode our confidence, forgetting that our value is not contingent upon someone else's recognition. Consider this. Have you ever seen a diamond lose its brilliance because someone failed to notice it? Of course not. The diamond remains just as valuable. Similarly, your worth doesn't diminish because someone else fails to acknowledge it. The Stoics remind us to separate our self-perception from external opinions. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." When you face rejection, resist the urge to define yourself through the lens of others. Instead, use it as an opportunity to reaffirm your value. Rejection can also be a blessing in disguise. Many successful people credit their greatest achievements to moments when they were told no. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first job as a television reporter. Steve Jobs was ousted from Apple, the company he co-founded. Yet, these setbacks propelled them to even greater heights. Ask yourself, what if this rejection is redirecting me towards something far better? 2. Stay calm in every situation. Life is unpredictable. You may face criticism, sudden changes, or unforeseen obstacles. The natural reaction is to panic or lash out, but the Stoics teach us a different approach. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Imagine you're caught in a rainstorm without an umbrella. You have two choices. Curse the weather and let your frustration ruin your day, or embrace the rain, laugh at the situation, and keep moving. The rain doesn't change, but your reaction determines whether the experience is miserable or liberating. This principle applies to every aspect of life. Let's say a colleague undermines you in a meeting. Your first instinct might be to retaliate, but reacting emotionally only escalates the conflict. Instead, pause, breathe, assess the situation calmly. By responding with composure, you maintain control and earn respect. The gap between stimulus and response is where true freedom lies. It's in this space that you can choose your reaction. Marcus Aurelius urged, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Calmness is not weakness. It's strength under control. It's the ability to face adversity without being consumed by it. Think of a tree in a storm. The wind may howl, the branches may sway, but the roots remain firm. Be like the tree. Here's a practical exercise. The next time you feel yourself reacting impulsively, pause for 3 breaths. Ask yourself, is this reaction aligned with who I want to be? This simple practice can transform your interactions and preserve your peace of mind. When was the last time you let someone else's behavior dictate your emotions? What could you have done differently? 3. Build inner strength instead of seeking validation. In a world dominated by likes, comments, and external validation, it's easy to fall into the trap of defining your worth through others' approval. But the strongest people are those who don't need external validation to affirm their value. They draw their strength from within. Imagine a lighthouse standing tall amidst a raging storm. It doesn't need the storm's acknowledgement to shine. It simply fulfills its purpose, guiding ships to safety. Similarly, you don't need others to recognize your worth for it to exist. Your value is inherent. Consider the story of a young musician who performed for a sparse crowd. After the concert, someone asked if he was disappointed by the lack of applause. He replied, "I don't play for the applause, I play because I love music." This mindset is a powerful example of living from a place of inner strength. When you rely on external validation, you give others control over your emotions. A compliment lifts you up, but a criticism can tear you down. Building inner strength frees you from this roller coaster. It allows you to navigate life with a sense of stability and self-assurance. The Stoics emphasize the importance of self-reliance. Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Mastery of oneself begins with recognizing that your worth isn't tied to external opinions. It's about living in alignment with your values, regardless of whether others approve. Here's a practice to cultivate inner strength. Each day, write down 3 things you appreciate about yourself that have nothing to do with others' opinions. Over time, this habit helps you focus on your intrinsic value rather than external validation. Lastly, remember this: you are the author of your story. Don't let anyone else hold the pen. Are you living to impress others, or are you living in alignment with your true self? These 3 lessons, understanding rejection, staying calm, and building inner strength, are powerful tools to master the mind game. By applying them, you can navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. Are you ready to take control of your mind and live a life defined by your own values? 4. Avoid emotional reactions. Emotions are powerful, and when used wisely, they can motivate and inspire. However, when emotions control us, they can lead to regret, conflict, and unnecessary pain. The Stoics understood this deeply, teaching that true mastery lies not in suppressing emotions, but in guiding them intentionally. Epictetus once said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." Imagine being criticized harshly in a meeting. Your instinct might be to react defensively or lash out, but what would that achieve? Instead, by pausing and taking a breath, you create space to respond with clarity and purpose. The gap between stimulus and response is your moment of power. When someone provokes you, instead of reacting impulsively, pause and ask, "Is this reaction aligned with my long-term goals? Does it reflect the person I aspire to be?" This pause allows you to respond intentionally rather than emotionally. Think of a seasoned sailor navigating rough seas. The waves may crash, but they remain focused, steering the ship with skill and composure. Life's challenges are like those waves. You can't stop them, but you can decide how to navigate through them. Practical tip: when you feel overwhelmed by emotions, practice the rule of 3 breaths. Before responding to any provocation, take 3 slow, deep breaths. This simple habit helps you regain control and avoid hasty decisions. When was the last time an impulsive reaction led to a regretful outcome? How might a moment of pause have changed the situation? 5. Use reverse psychology to maintain control. When faced with indifference or rejection, the natural human instinct is to chase after approval or attention. However, the Stoics teach us that true strength lies in detachment and self-focus. Instead of seeking validation, reverse the dynamic. Withdraw, center yourself, and focus on personal growth. Imagine someone ignores you, perhaps a colleague dismissing your ideas or a friend growing distant. Instead of desperately trying to win back their favor, shift your energy inward. Invest in yourself, develop your skills, pursue your passions, and cultivate inner peace. By doing so, you silently demonstrate self-respect and resilience. Reverse psychology works not as a tool to manipulate others, but as a way to regain your power. When you stop chasing, you shift the focus back to yourself. Paradoxically, this often draws people's attention because strength and independence are magnetic. A powerful example is the silent confidence of a great leader. They don't beg for approval or attention, they let their actions speak. Over time, people naturally gravitate toward their calm assurance. You can embody this same energy by refusing to react emotionally to rejection or indifference, and instead channeling that energy into becoming the best version of yourself. Practical tip: the next time someone's indifference affects you, ask yourself, how can I use this moment to improve myself rather than seek their approval? Redirect that energy into a new skill, hobby, or personal goal. What would happen if, instead of seeking validation from others, you redirected that energy towards self-improvement? 6. Rejection as a lesson, not a failure. Rejection feels like failure, but it's often the gateway to growth. The Stoics saw setbacks not as obstacles, but as opportunities to refine one's character and approach. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Consider a writer who submits their manuscript to dozens of publishers only to receive rejection after rejection. Instead of giving up, they use each piece of feedback to improve their work. Eventually, their persistence pays off, and their book becomes a bestseller. The rejections were not failures, but stepping stones towards success. Rejection forces us to reevaluate, adapt, and grow. It teaches us resilience, patience, and creativity. More importantly, it reminds us that success is not about avoiding failure, but learning from it. Every no brings you closer to the right yes. A powerful real-world example is Walt Disney. He was once fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. If he had taken that rejection as a definitive judgment, the world would never have known Mickey Mouse or Disneyland. Instead, he used it as fuel to pursue his dreams with even greater determination. Practical tip: after experiencing rejection, write down 3 lessons you can learn from the experience. Then, create an action plan to apply those lessons moving forward. This turns rejection into a proactive step toward improvement. How can you reframe a recent rejection in your life as a lesson rather than a failure? These lessons, avoiding impulsive reactions, using reverse psychology to maintain control, and viewing rejection as a lesson, are transformative tools for mastering the challenges life throws your way. When you apply these principles, you not only rise above adversity, but also grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient with each experience. Are you ready to embrace rejection as the teacher it truly is? 7. Focus your energy on what truly matters. Energy is one of your most valuable resources, yet many of us squander it on things that don't truly matter. Rejection, criticism, or trivial annoyances can easily consume our mental and emotional energy, leaving little for what's truly important. The Stoics remind us that our power lies in directing our focus toward things within our control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Imagine being stuck in traffic. You can let frustration overtake you, or you can use that time to reflect, plan, or simply enjoy a moment of calm. The traffic won't change, but your mindset can transform the experience. This principle applies to rejection as well. Instead of fixating on why someone dismissed you or why things didn't go your way, redirect your energy toward growth. Ask yourself, what can I do now that aligns with my values and goals? For example, if a job application is rejected, use that energy to improve your skills, network with others, or apply for even better opportunities. Each moment spent dwelling on the rejection is a moment taken away from your progress. Practical tip: at the start of each day, write down 3 priorities that matter most to you. Whenever you feel your energy being drained by distractions or negativity, revisit this list and refocus. Are you spending your energy on things you can't control, or are you investing it in what truly matters? 8. Strength lies in emotional discipline. True strength doesn't come from physical power or outward confidence, it comes from mastering your emotions. The Stoics understood that the ability to stay calm and composed in the face of adversity is the foundation of inner strength. Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Imagine a heated argument where tempers flare and voices rise. While one person lashes out in anger, the other remains calm, listening intently before responding with clarity. Who holds the power in this scenario? It's the person who refuses to let their emotions dictate their actions. Emotional discipline doesn't mean suppressing your feelings, it means understanding them and responding intentionally. When someone criticizes you or treats you unfairly, your initial reaction might be anger or hurt. But by taking a step back, you create space to choose a response that aligns with your values. Think of emotional discipline as being like a thermostat, not a thermometer. A thermometer simply reacts to the environment, while a thermostat sets the temperature. Be the thermostat. Set the tone of your emotions rather than letting external events dictate them. Practical tip: practice mindfulness by taking 5 minutes each day to observe your emotions without judgment. This habit strengthens your ability to recognize and manage your feelings in real time. How often do you let your emotions control your actions, and what might change if you chose to respond with intention instead? 9. Transform pain into motivation. Pain and rejection are inevitable parts of life, but what defines us is how we respond to them. The Stoics believed that every hardship carries within it the seeds of growth and transformation. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Consider an athlete training for a marathon. Each mile is grueling, each failure painful. But instead of giving up, they use the discomfort to fuel their determination. Similarly, rejection and setbacks can either break you or build you. The choice is yours. One inspiring story is that of J.K. Rowling, who faced numerous rejections before her Harry Potter series became a global phenomenon. Instead of allowing the pain of rejection to defeat her, she channeled it into refining her craft and persevering. Her success wasn't in spite of the pain, but because of it. Pain can be a powerful motivator. It forces us to reassess, adapt, and grow. When you face rejection, ask yourself, how can I use this experience to propel myself forward? This mindset not only helps you overcome challenges, but also builds resilience and inner strength. Practical tip: after each setback, write down 3 things you learned from the experience and 1 actionable step to move forward. Over time, this practice helps you view pain as a catalyst for growth rather than a roadblock. How can you take a recent, painful experience and use it to fuel your future success? By focusing your energy on what matters, cultivating emotional discipline, and transforming pain into motivation, you can build a life of resilience and purpose. These lessons remind us that challenges aren't meant to stop us, they're meant to shape us. Are you ready to embrace the obstacles in your path and turn them into stepping stones for greatness? 10. Embrace the present moment. The present moment is the only reality we truly have, yet many of us live trapped in the past, dwelling on regrets or projecting anxieties into the future. The Stoics emphasized that peace comes not from controlling time, but from fully immersing ourselves in the now. Marcus Aurelius urged, "Confine yourself to the present." Imagine being at a family dinner, but spending the entire time scrolling through your phone or mentally replaying an earlier argument. You miss the joy of connection because your mind is elsewhere. Rejection and failure can anchor us in the past or push us to fear the future. But the truth is, the past cannot be undone, and the future is yet to unfold. What you have is this moment, this breath, to make a choice, take action, and create meaning. One simple yet powerful exercise is grounding yourself in the present by asking, what can I do right now that aligns with my values? This refocuses your mind, shifting you away from unproductive thoughts and into intentional action. Practical tip: at the end of each day, reflect on one moment when you were fully present. Commit to repeating that mindfulness tomorrow. How often do you let the past or future steal the richness of the present moment? 11. Actions speak louder than words. In a world full of noise, the most powerful statement you can make is through your actions. The Stoics believed in letting deeds define character, not words. Epictetus advised, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Imagine someone who promises to start exercising but never does, versus someone who quietly begins jogging every morning. The latter inspires respect and trust without uttering a single word. Similarly, when faced with rejection or criticism, your response in action carries far more weight than any verbal defense. For example, if someone doubts your abilities at work, instead of arguing or justifying yourself, let your consistent results prove them wrong. Over time, people will recognize your dedication and strength through what you do, not what you say. Practical tip: the next time you feel the urge to explain yourself or seek approval, pause. Instead, channel that energy into an action that aligns with your goals and values. What action can you take today that speaks louder than any words you might say? 12. Accept life's imperfections. Life is not a straight path. It's filled with twists, turns, and imperfections that can frustrate and disappoint us. The Stoics remind us that peace comes not from controlling life, but from accepting its unpredictability. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Often, our suffering comes from wishing life were different, clinging to unrealistic expectations, or resisting what we cannot change. By accepting life's imperfections, we free ourselves from unnecessary anguish. Think of a sculptor working with a flawed block of marble. Instead of discarding it, they embrace the imperfections and create a masterpiece. Similarly, when you accept life as it is, you gain the clarity and resilience to make the best of every situation. One way to practice acceptance is by reframing obstacles as opportunities. Didn't get the job you wanted? Maybe it's a chance to explore a better path. A relationship ended? Perhaps it's an opportunity for personal growth. Practical tip: each time you encounter disappointment, write down one thing you can learn or gain from the experience. This reframes challenges as opportunities. What part of life are you resisting, and how might acceptance help you move forward? 13. Stay committed to your path. Success and fulfillment don't come from occasional effort. They're the result of consistent dedication to your values and goals. The Stoics teach us that the greatest achievements often require perseverance through challenges and setbacks. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do." Imagine a mountain climber scaling a steep peak. They may stumble, encounter storms, or feel exhausted, but they keep moving upward because the summit is their goal. Your journey is no different. Whether you're pursuing a dream, building a habit, or overcoming rejection, staying the course is essential. Each step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your destination. Staying committed also means being adaptable. If one path is blocked, find another. The key is to never lose sight of your purpose. Remember, even slow progress is progress. Practical tip: create a personal mantra to remind yourself of your commitment. Repeat it daily, especially during moments of doubt or challenge. What goal or value do you need to recommit to today, and what step can you take to honor that commitment? By embracing the present moment, letting actions speak louder than words, accepting life's imperfections, and staying committed to your path, you cultivate a life of resilience and purpose. These lessons remind us that challenges are not roadblocks. They are the stepping stones to greatness. Are you ready to fully embrace this journey? Let me share with you the story of Sarah, a young woman whose journey from rejection to triumph embodies the very essence of resilience and growth. Sarah had always dreamed of being a writer. She poured her soul into her first novel, spending countless late nights crafting characters and weaving intricate plots. With trembling hands, she sent her manuscript to dozens of publishers, filled with hope that her words would finally see the light of day. But as the weeks turned into months, her mailbox filled with rejection letters. Some were generic. "We regret to inform you." Others were harsher, criticizing her work as unmarketable or uninspired. Each letter felt like a dagger to her confidence, and she began to question her talent. "Am I even good enough?" she asked herself. One evening, as she stared at yet another rejection email, Sarah remembered a quote she had once read from Marcus Aurelius. "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This was a turning point. She decided that rejection wouldn't define her, it would refine her. Instead of seeing rejection as failure, Sarah began to view it as feedback. She revisited her manuscript, not with despair, but with curiosity. She analyzed the criticisms, separated the constructive from the dismissive, and started rewriting with a fresh perspective. She also realized she needed to strengthen her craft. Rather than wallowing in self-doubt, she enrolled in writing workshops and joined a local writers' group. There, she met others who shared her struggles and learned from their experiences. The road wasn't easy. There were moments when self-doubt crept in, whispering that she should give up. But Sarah practiced emotional discipline, a lesson rooted in Stoic philosophy. When frustration arose, she paused, took a deep breath, and reminded herself that setbacks were part of the journey. Sarah began journaling daily, reflecting on her progress and celebrating small victories, like finishing a challenging rewrite or receiving constructive feedback from her peers. She no longer reacted impulsively to rejection. Instead, she approached each obstacle with calm determination. Her greatest breakthrough came after a particularly brutal critique from an agent who dismissed her work as too ambitious. Instead of letting the pain defeat her, Sarah used it as fuel. "If I'm too ambitious, then I'll find someone who appreciates ambition," she resolved. She began querying smaller independent publishers, focusing on those who valued creative risks. Meanwhile, she continued refining her manuscript, pouring every ounce of her passion and resilience into her work. 1 year later, Sarah received an email that changed everything. A boutique publishing house had not only accepted her novel, but praised it for its boldness and originality. The same traits that had been criticized were now celebrated. Her book was published, receiving glowing reviews and finding its audience, but more than the external success, Sarah discovered something even more valuable: the strength within herself. Rejection had shaped her into a better writer, and, more importantly, a more resilient person. Sarah's story is a powerful reminder that rejection is not the end. It's often the beginning of a greater journey. By reframing rejection, practicing emotional discipline, and using pain as motivation, she turned her dream into reality. Ask yourself, how can you use your own setbacks as stepping stones toward your success? Just like Sarah, your greatest victory might be waiting on the other side of perseverance. Life doesn't always give us what we want. Rejection, criticism, and failure are inevitable. But remember this: those moments when you feel like giving up are actually the opportunities to build a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. Take a moment to reflect on your journey. How many times have you been rejected, only to realize later that the rejection opened doors you didn't even know existed? That's the rhythm of life. What seems to work against you can often become the very foundation for your greatest successes. To turn this philosophy into practice, here's a small challenge for you to take on over the next 7 days. 1. Write down 3 recent instances where you faced rejection. 2. For each experience, identify 1 positive takeaway or lesson you learned. 3. Ask yourself, how can I use these lessons to grow and move forward in the future? These don't need to be monumental events. Sometimes, the most valuable lessons come from seemingly small setbacks. Commit to doing this each day, and you'll find yourself growing into a stronger, more grounded version of yourself. You don't need to conquer anyone else. The real journey is conquering yourself, your fears, your doubts, and your limitations. And that is the greatest victory of all. Always remember, you are not defined by rejection, but by how you respond to it. Every time you rise above it, you not only become stronger, but also step closer to becoming your truest self. The journey of personal growth is continuous. In our next video, we'll dive deeper into how to build an iron mindset with Stoicism. It will equip you with the tools to not only overcome challenges, but also remain calm and composed in every situation. Join the discussion. I'd love to hear your story. Share in the comments a time when you faced rejection and how you overcame it. Your experiences can inspire not only me, but also others who are watching this video. Finally, if you found this video valuable, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next one. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Remember, transformation begins within, and I'll be here to walk with you every step of the way. See you in the next video.